All right, welcome back. Hour number 2. This is our Dollar Loan Center video segment 2. So if you're online or you want to switch on over to the KTIK YouTube channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. We're looking for 1,000 subscriptions to the KTIK YouTube channel. You can see myself, my partner Mike Prater, and the Idaho Vandal football coach who's hopped on with us right now, Jason Eck. Coach, always appreciate your time, and holy catfish, Bobcat Stadium, Saturday night, 8:15 Mountain Time, ESPN2, Idaho at Montana State. Welcome back to the show, and we're fired up, Coach.
Prater Ballgame, great to be on with you guys. Big one this week. Appreciate you having me on.
Do you calm them down or pump them up before a game like this, Coach?
Yeah, you don't need to pump them up much before a game like this. I think the guys know, the opponent we're playing, know the magnitude. I do think we got to make sure with such a long day, not playing until 8:15 local time. You can't get too amped up too early for a game like this. You got to make sure you're ready to go right at 8:15, but not ready to play at 1 o'clock. But yeah, we'll be ready. We practiced very well yesterday. This is usually not a week where you have to use a lot of motivation.
4-2 on the season, 1-1 in Big Sky play. How you feeling about this team right now, Coach?
Good. We had a good football team, and I think this will be one of our biggest challenges we've had up to this date. I don't think Montana State's quite Oregon, but they're probably a better football team than anybody else we played besides Oregon. So we're going to have to play very well, but I believe in this team. I think we've come along well, and have learned a little bit more about ourselves each game.
Jason Eck, Idaho Vandals football coach. All right, Coach, let's make this personal because you just talked about a night game. Welcome to Johnny and I's world. We have to deal with 8:15 games all the time. We don't care about that because we're professionals. We can handle it. How do you deal with it? Because you have a lot of day games. I think you had one 7 o'clock game, but you have to tweak the schedule a little bit. So start in the morning with wake-up call, and how do you kind of go through the day?
Yeah, we're going to let them sleep in a little bit, because it's not as late. We've had 2 7 o'clock local kicks, right now, and our game at Davis was a 7 o'clock kickoff Pacific time. So not much difference from 8:15, but we'll let them sleep in a little bit, have breakfast in the morning. We're going to do something a little different for this game. We're going to go over to the stadium a little bit in the morning about, 10:30, Mountain Time. We'll go over to the stadium, just, not really have a practice, but, toss the ball around, stretch a little bit, just kind of get loosened up. Then we'll have some time to get back, to the hotel and just let guys lay low through a lot of the day. And then we'll crank back up about 3:15, just, have the players meet with their position coach and just go over some last minute reminders, have an optional chapel service, then pregame meal at 4:15, have a quick walk through in the parking lot before that, and then head over to the stadium and get warmed up, get ready to go.
Coach Eck, I like that. I mean, a Saturday morning walkthrough, a little bit of Saturday afternoon walkthrough. I don't know if you probably bus over. I would assume. I don't know. Maybe you fly over. What do you do on Friday? And where did the Saturday morning walkthrough come through? That's a new idea I've never heard before.
We're a first class operation here. We're flying over. We got a quick little 45-minute flight over there to Bozeman, which will be nice. So. I like. I remember Coach Alvarez did that once for a night game, and in the Big Ten back then, he didn't have many night games at all. And I remember one time we went over to the stadium just to stretch our legs and stuff the day of the game, and thought that was a good idea. So, and then then I like that last walkthrough right before we head to the stadium, just to kind of make sure their minds are focused in and locked in. And sometimes you have good ones. I mean, last week it was a home game, but our walkthrough, right before pregame meal at home, we corrected one play on offense against a look, and we got that exact play against the exact look, and that was our first touchdown of the game. And the first time we ran on the walkthrough that morning, the guy who caught the touchdown busted. We got it corrected that morning, and then that was the exact call they ran, and we got a touchdown last week.
So weird how you hear those stories in football all the time. And in preparation, Coach Jason Eck with us, 8:15 Mountain Time, ESPN2, Idaho at Montana State, a massive Big Sky showdown on national television. Coach, how good is Montana State? Like, what are they best at?
They can run the rock. They're really good. I mean, they're probably outside that back from Boise. They might run the ball as good as anybody. They 300 yards rushing a game as a team. Their quarterback is a really good player who's been there. He was like basically a 4-year starter. He's a really good runner. They're trying to run him less, I think, a little bit this, as he gets older, just to try to keep him healthy because he's battled some injuries over the years when he's carried it a lot. And then they're very sound on defense. They're very sound on special teams. They're very good on special teams. Well coached, play hard. Those Montana schools typically have just a lot of guys who have a lot of pride, representing their home state. And then I think they have one of the best. There's in FCS football. There's probably less than 10 schools who really have a great home field advantage. Well, this is one of them. They draw really well. It's very loud. Again, I've coached there a couple times when I was an assistant at South Dakota State, and I spent a year there too as coaching at Montana State. So I know that place well. They had great fans, and I think that's something we got to handle. But if you wanted to practice warm up for it, Autzen Stadium was pretty good. Or for our first game of the season.
If Montana State's run game is special, your run defense might even be more special, Coach. I think you might like that juicy matchup. You're only giving up 2.6 yards per carry, and you've only allowed 3 rushing touchdowns all season long in 5 games. Those are ridiculous numbers. What do you like about your rush defense?
Well, I think we're very physical up front. We get off blocks very well, and then we've been very gap sound. I think we've gotten very good at our run fits. I think our coach Jackson, our defensive coordinator, has done a really good job teaching those and getting us to execute at a high level. I think that's a big difference. I think, you said what we are this year. I think last year going into the Montana State game where we beat them, we were giving up about 4 yards a carry. So that's probably been the biggest improvement on our defense this year is the rush defense. And in college, the sacks, we're getting some sacks too, which helps rush defense the way the college stats work. But that's the matchup in this game, man. It's if it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 1, it's advantage Bobcats. If it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8, it's advantage Vandals. So I think that'll be a huge factor in this game. They're very good against. They're very good running the ball. We're very good against the run. Who wins good versus good.
I'm glad you brought up the sacks thing because we think Boise State's pretty good at sacks. They got an individual, this Hamed Hassanin kid, that's pretty darn good. But you've got Keyshawn James Newby, 7 sacks already, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think it's even more than that. To fact check, 7.5. Don't short him his half, but 7.5. And I think we have 18 as a team through 6 games, so averaging 3 a game, especially the schedule we've played. And again, if Montana State, has kind of a schedule to be jealous of because they've had 5 straight blowouts after playing New Mexico. They had a great comeback to beat New Mexico in their first game, but then they've blown out 5 straight FCS teams that weren't very good. And usually that's when you get a lot of your sacks, when you're up on people and they got to be one-dimensional and throw the ball. We've had, 5 games that have been decided, late in the 4th quarter, so not as many of those pin your ear back situations.
Coach Eck with us, and I want to talk about the quarterback situation. You're the only team in the Big Sky with 3 players with 25 or more attempts at quarterback. Not even our boy Cody Hawkins in the throwing Idahoans has that numbers. And matter of fact, Jack Lane, your starter, has thrown the least amount of attempts of the 3 with Nick Joseph getting in and Jack Wagner. What can you give us an update on the quarterback situation? Luckily, it hasn't killed you yet, Coach. You're still averaging 343 yards of offense per game, but you've had to do it with 3 quarterbacks all playing a lot.
Yeah, it was disappointing to lose, Jack Lane in that first game because he really had worked hard to win that job and a guy we had a lot of trust in, for how he came off the bench the last couple of years. And then, Jack Wagner came in and gave us, a good spark, helped us win that Wyoming game and, won his first 3 starts, which was great to see. And then, he gets a little nicked up and Nick Joseph's coming and done a good job. And, Nick came in at the end of that UC Davis game, down 11, and that's a tough situation, down 11 late in the game and was able to lead us on 2 2-minute drives to, put us in position to have a 2-point conversion. So we got a lot of confidence in Nick. He earned, based off of that performance, I thought he just played well enough to keep playing him. So we rotated both guys that week and, we're just kind of taking it week by week now. I thought both of them practiced well yesterday. We'll analyze today, which is kind of our last, last practice where we're really, going good versus good, going with, robust, competition. And we'll make a decision probably tomorrow on, what our rotation is going to be this game. But, the plus side is we got, confidence in all these guys and they've all made plays to help us win games now.
The Big Sky's done a nice job, and we're talking to Idaho football coach Jason Eck. They've done a nice job of putting together this TV package the last couple of years, and you guys are regulars on ESPN Plus, and that's good. But this is big boy ESPN2, I believe, and that's a big deal for Big Sky programs. How does that work for you, and how big of a deal is it for you and your guys?
Well, it's huge for just exposure with recruiting. Number one, this will be our third game on ESPN2 in the last 2 years. Last year our Montana game and then our playoff game against Southern Illinois was on ESPN2. So that was even better to have the Kibbe Dome featured on national TV. But frequently when you're out talking in the football world, whether it's high school coaches, recruits, they mention this game. A lot of other coaches will watch this too. I mean, that's what you do when you're a football guy. Is when you're done with your game, you go home and watch football. That's what I was doing late Saturday night, watching the Cal Miami game. Was the late game last week. Now,
yep.
I did just notice this week that I think Dion's on regular ESPN, and he draws more eyes than anybody. So that probably hurts our cause a little bit that we're up against Dion with the late game. But we're still going to have considerably more eyes on this game than our normal games on ESPN Plus. So that's a great opportunity for our coaches and players. And, so that's great. It's an exciting thing. And I think the Big Sky Conference has done a good job. This year we have 2 games on ESPN2, and that's going to double Prater next year in 2025. We'll have 4 games that are on ESPN2 next year. So they're doing a good job of trying to fill that gap of in the interim before Pac-12 figures out if they're going to have After Dark again or what.
Coach Eck with us. Your son Jackson, sophomore, starting middle linebacker, was named Big Sky Defensive Player of the Week. Coach, how happy is the missus, your wife Kimberly, when you come home at night and her baby boy was just named Player of the Week and he's off to this great career at Idaho?
She's ecstatic, and they say, "Happy wife, happy life." So I'm it's good for me too, and she's happy. So I'm very proud of Jackson as a coach. Probably number one, because anytime one of our players gets a Conference Player of the Week honor, it's a nice honor. But even more so as a dad, and then like I said, my wife is truly ecstatic about it. So it's a good deal. He's playing well.
Safe travels, and all you Vandals out there listening, let's get to Bozeman and take over Bobcat Stadium Saturday night, 8:15, ESPN2, Idaho at Montana State. Huge Big Sky matchup. Coach Eck, we appreciate you, man, as always. Let's go get that sucker.
Thanks, Prater. Thanks, Ballgame. V's up.
V's up. Coach Eck, 208-424-9300. JP, keep the Double Tap Pub hotline open because we want to let Bronco Nation get in this sucker a little bit. Saturday is the last scheduled trip for Boise State on the island against Hawaii. How does that make you feel? Do you like it that this trip is no longer going to be a part of your program, or would you like to see Boise State in some way try to keep a relationship with Hawaii every so often? We want your thoughts. 208-424-9300. Prater, let's get after this. It's our college football hour, continuing next.
This is Ticket Traffic.
Well, starting off, nothing too crazy this afternoon.